to our lessons from English Line. So in today's lesson I'm going to talk about the tenses. What is it? Tenses. Let me write it. Tenses means zamanlar. And I know that from school program, you know the tenses like simple tense, continuous or progressive tense, perfect tense, perfect continuous, and so on. And you think that there are too many tenses, so you feel confused. But in our lessons, I will try to explain all of them step by step. And in the first lesson of our tenses, I will teach you the simple tense. Simple tense. So let me clean. If you translate it into your language, you'll understand the meaning. Simple, basic, very easy, right? When we start speaking in English, we start making very basic, easy sentences using simple tense, right? And as usual, all the tenses in English, they have 3 time zones. For example, simple tense has past, it has present, and it has future. Future. So you see that we can speak about anything using simple tense. We can speak about past, we can speak about present and future. And in today's lesson, I will try to explain to you present simple tense. Present simple tense. It means now, not in the past, not in the future, but the present time. So let me write it from the beginning. Usually when I explain grammar, I always tell my students, you try to know the structure of this grammatical subject, it's number 1, and why or when do we use this tense. So when we talk about present simple, present simple, you have to understand first the structure and why and when do we use it. So we will start with this number 2 case, right? When do we use present simple? So first you understand the situations when we use it. So we use it, number 1, when we talk about regular repeated actions. Regular repeated actions. So the actions that you do maybe every day, every week, every month, every year, every summer, every semester, and so on. The repetition of some actions, right? Regular repeated actions. Some schools teach you the word like routine. Maybe you can say it like daily routine. For example, I brush my teeth every day, right? Or I fly to another country every summer. So you see, the repetition every day, every summer, they show that you do these actions regularly, right? So this is kind of a routine. This is kind of a repeated action, right? The simple information that shows that you do it regularly. So it's very easy. And the next, number 2, when do we use present simple is when we talk about simple fact. You can say a general fact or simple fact, but usually we will say a simple fact. For example, the information. You can say, I like summer. So there is no repetition, right? Just you give the information to another person. General information, simple fact about yourself. I like summer. I don't like winter, right? You can use it as a negative sentence also, or for example, I am a student. I am a student. Is this an information? Yes, this is information for somebody that you're talking to. So I'm a student. I'm not a teacher. I'm a doctor. I'm a manager. Or I have 2 kids. I live in New York, right? So my favorite color is green. You give some information about yourself, right? So you don't talk about any action here. That is all. So for this state, you remember these 2 cases when we use present simple. It is, once again, try to repeat, try to remember regular repeated actions. And number 2, a simple fact. Some fact or information about yourself. Now we will go to the structure of present simple. These are the questions. Why and when do we use it? Now we will talk about the structure of present simple. Yeah, you can look at this one more time. Now, let's take the sentence. For example, I play football, or I have a house. It depends. You can use any verb, action verb maybe, and we will try to make a sentence. First of all, let's write our pronouns as usual. I, he, she, it, singular pronouns, and you, we, they. You already know that you can be singular and plural also, right? So not to repeat, I write it just one more time. For example, you say, I play football every weekend, right? This is the case number 1. We have repetition here. Every weekend I do this. I play football. Every weekend. Regular repeated action, right? So when we talk about he, she, it, you have to add s ending to the main verb. So you have he plays, she plays, or it plays, for example. So you know the structure. He, she plays football every weekend. The same sentence, for example. I will show you, remember, I will show you just the structure here. Maybe you cannot say it plays football every weekend, but to understand the structure, I want to say that you have to add s ending to the verb that comes with these pronouns, right? So any verb, for example, he eats, she eats, right? It eats, the dog eats every day, right? So any verb you have to add s. And very easy for all the other pronouns, we as usual use just the verb, simple verb. That's why maybe we call it present simple. You just add simple verb. You play, we play, they play football. The same sentence. Every weekend. Or every day, every evening, every morning, and so on. So what is the main thing here? You add the verb, but when you have pronouns he, she, it can be mother, sister, it can be father, brother, or anybody, male, female. You add s ending to these three pronouns. That's super easy. Yeah? Now you can take any verbs that you know. Maybe you can look from the dictionary and try to make sentences about your routines, maybe about your actions that you do regularly. For example, I go to school every Monday or every day. I go to the swimming pool every Friday. Repetition. Try to pronounce, not just think. Try to say them loudly. Practice this construction, right? So this is positive sentences. Do you remember that usually we do three structures? We have positive, questions, interrogative, and negative sentences, right? So now we will try to show how can we make questions in present simple. For example, I will clean the rest of the sentence so you know already. So it's kind of an example to show how the verb changes. So now we will have negative, interrogative. No, we will have questions here, right? We'll have questions. And here we will have negative sentences. Yeah. So for present simple, you have to use auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs, it means helping verbs that help you to make a sentence, to make a question or interrogative sentence or negative sentence, and so on. For present simple, it is, remember, do and does. So we have s at the end. When do we use do? When do we use does? You hear I'm using this verb actually. When do we use this verb? So I use present simple. Let's start it from these sentences. For example, you have the sentence, I play football every weekend. And here you will write the helping verb do. Do. So you have, do I play football every weekend? I will make a short version. Do I play? Right? For I, we use do. Next comes he, she, it. Do you remember that they are kind of brother sisters? They have the one rule for three of them. For them, we will use, let me see, I'll do it like that. For them, we will use does. Does. So, does he, does she, does it. For he, she, it, we use does. And it will be like that. Does he play? Do you see what happened? So the S ending that we have here, it disappears. Imagine that it goes here. We change S to this side, right? So we don't have S ending here. Does he play? So we have the first form of the verb, play. The next the same for she. Does she play? Does it play? You see, for all three of them, we don't have S ending in the questions, right? Super easy. And the next one, the same for you, we, they, plural form. The same, we use do for them. Do you play? Nothing changes because already we have the first form of the verb. Do we play? Do they play? Yes? So, very popular question actually. Do you play? Do you like? Do you go? It's automatically, you already know it and you heard it many times. So this is actually the basic form of questions of present simple questions, right? So what do we remember here? We remember that to make a question we need two verbs, auxiliary verbs, do, does. Does you use just with he, she, it, and the rest will be do. Okay? Very easy. Now you can press the stop button and you can try to make sentences, to make practice of some sentences about your life. For example, you have a friend asking some questions. Do you have breakfast every day? Do you go to school every week? Do you fly to another city every summer? Do you go on holiday? Right? So make some sentences and try to say them, practice them, okay? Don't just look and think, try to say it. And the next comes our negative sentences. Super easy because we will use the same auxiliary verbs. For example, you have the positive sentence, I play. Here we will have negative sentences. And we use the same verb. For example, I do not play football every weekend. So this is do not. It's a full version, but in short, actually, usually, people use don't. Don't. I don't play, right? So here we also have these auxiliary verbs. For he, she, it, we use the same verb, does. For example, he, she, it. Does not. Right? And in short, as you can see, we use doesn't play. So we have the same auxiliary verb plus not. We have the helping verb doesn't, negative one. He doesn't play. She doesn't play. It doesn't play. And the rest one for pronouns like you, we, they, the same do verb, helping verb, do not, we use don't. Don't play football. You see, it's very easy. Just you have to remember the structure and you have to memorize and to practice. So when you make a question, do you, does she, does he, you don't think about these things. You make it so naturally because you know it and you practice it so much so it comes very easy from your mouth and you just make simple sentences super easy and fast. For example, I read a book every day. Do you read a book every day? No, I don't read a book every day. Does he read a book every day? Yes, he reads a book every day, right? Here also, you can use the short action. Instead of he plays, you can say yes, he does. This is short version of the answer, right? Or no, let me write yes. Yes, he does. Does he play football every weekend? Yes, he does. Does he play football every weekend? No, he doesn't. So here you use the short version of the answer. You can say yes, he plays, or in short, yes, he does. No, he doesn't play, or no, he doesn't. That's all, right? Super easy. As I told you, make sentences, speak to your friend, basic verbs. Do you, yes I do. Does he, yes he does, no he doesn't, he plays, he goes, and so on. 5 minutes, make it a practice, like you have to speak it, not you have just to look and think about it, right? Just practice, please. Speaking starts with practice. You practice the basic sentences, right? So you can look at this board one more time. And after this lesson, 5 minutes, practice these sentences. Present simple, very useful tense. Every tense is useful, but this one is the number one when you just start speaking English, because usually when you see a person the first time, you ask questions with present simple. Where are you from? Do you live in this country? Do you like ice cream? Do you like summer? And so on. Basic questions. When you learn this is the first step of speaking beautiful English language. Okay? I hope everything is clear and it was very easy. Now your task is just to practice. So thank you very much and I hope to see you next lesson. Take care.